It's been 24 years since the original series of Gladiators was last on our screens, and now the iconic game show is set to make a comeback on BBC with classic and updated challenges. A new generation of muscle-bound stars will take on the ultimate test of speed and strength, inspired by the popular TV show that ran for 8 years on ITV until the year 2000. With fans thrilled over the announcement of the 11-episode series, it's hard not to remember the original Gladiators as we knew and loved them back in the 90s. Life off camera has since proven to be just as action-packed for the athletes, with some forced to ditch their characters and delve into new career paths. Here is where they all are now. Falcon. Bernadette Hunt Falcon joined the hit TV show for its second series in 1993 and was well known amongst fans as the nicest gladiator. She also made appearances on International Gladiators and remained a core character until 1999. In the years following her TV fame, Bernadette worked as a fitness instructor in Basingstoke. In March, Bernadette tragically died at the age of 59 following a cancer diagnosis. Her death was announced by Rick Django, the partner of Falcon's sister, on social media. In the tribute, he said, "She never had a bad word to say about anyone, indeed she was always known as the nicest gladiator, always stopping to speak and sign autographs for anyone." Shadow. Michael Jefferson King Shadow was one of the most popular stars of the hit ITV series but was axed from the show in 1995 after being caught snorting cocaine and testing positive for steroids. In 2009, he went into rehab and stayed clean for a while, however, he was eventually back on illegal drugs. Michael Jefferson King, now aged 61, was jailed in 2021 for his part in a blackmail plot, where he threatened to kneecap a drug user if he did not pay a £1,000 debt. He had threatened to take a hammer to a man's legs after he tried to escape from a terrifying ordeal in which he was hit with a metal pole and gagged. King was said to be addicted to heroin and crack cocaine at the time, and lived in a flat in Acton, West London that was a safe haven for people to take drugs in. He admitted 2 counts of blackmail and was sent behind bars for 6 years and 3 months. Warrior. Michael Ahern, now 62, was cheered by millions during his time on the show, but his life came crashing down. He played rugby union for England at youth level before becoming a prize-winning bodybuilder, representing Great Britain at Mr. Universe. The 6 feet 4 inches athlete became a household name as one of the stars of Gladiators during the first 6 series and was earning up to £100,000 a year. However, his world crumbled in 1997 after becoming embroiled in a plot to foil the prosecution of Philip Glennon Jr., a then associate of former international cocaine baron Curtis "Cocky" Warren. Glennon Jr. had been accused of firing a handgun at a doorman and a police officer outside a nightclub in 1996 and was charged with attempted murder of both. Glennon Jr. was jailed at Preston Crown Court in 1998 for 6 years for attempted murder. In 1998, Ahern was sent to prison for corruption and perverting the course of justice in a firearms case and served part of a 15-month jail sentence. Ahern was released from prison after just 6 months, having impressed bosses at Wealdstone Jail in West Yorkshire. He returned to his home in Oxton, Wirral, where he was the subject of an electronic tag. In 2018, he made headlines again when he was the subject of a police raid at his home in the Wirral. Officers uncovered a stash of anabolic steroids inside a plastic Tesco shopping bag, another bag and some boxes. Ahern was arrested on suspicion of possessing the Class C drugs with intent to supply, but no charges were brought over the haul. However, Ahern was charged over the CS spray and admitted 3 counts of possessing a weapon designed or adapted for the discharge of a noxious liquid. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison, suspended for 12 months, at Liverpool Crown Court in October 2018 for these offences. The case was brought back to court as Merseyside police applied to destroy the steroids, which was granted by the district judge. Amazon. Sharon Davies. You may recognize this former gladiator, as she is actually much more famous for her achievements outside of the show. Sharon, now 60, was a successful swimmer before becoming Amazon, winning a silver medal at the Olympics in Moscow in 1980 and representing Great Britain at the Commonwealth Games and European Championships. After retiring from the sport, she became a gladiator in the 90s but had to retire after just a year on the show due to a knee injury. She went on to become a successful TV presenter, hosting The Big Breakfast and going on to become a regular face of the BBC's sports coverage. Sharon also competed in Dancing on Ice back in 2010. In 2019, she was the subject of much criticism after demanding that transgender athletes with a male sex advantage be excluded from women's sports. She previously came out in support of World Athletics' decision to exclude transgender athletes from women's category events, and thanked the organization for standing up for female athletes. She wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "Hopefully we have our sport back. Sport is for all but only where you qualify in the fair category for your biological reality. Well, keep fighting till all girls' sport is protected." Wolf. Mike Van Veck. TV's original Mr. Nasty was often cited as the most popular gladiator because of his bad boy antics. He was on the show for 7 years, starring in 8 seasons, becoming the main villain. Wolf also returned for the revived Sky series as the leader of the pack and appeared in all of the series' 2 episodes. Mike, who is now 70, is living in New Zealand where he owns his own business, Wolf's Gym. Wolf has moved halfway across the world and gotten into the best shape of his life, with images of his ripping muscles filling the screen behind him and videos of him working out. He still keeps up his fitness regime and is just as ripped now as he was back in the day, although he has lost all the hair. In August 2019, he appeared on Lorraine and confessed had been begging TV producers to bring the show back once again. Jet. Diane Udale. Jet was one of the original cast and was much loved by fans at home. She ended up bowing out after 4 seasons due to a neck injury she sustained in a nasty fall during one of the challenges. Diane, now 53, who hails from Middlesbrough, retrained as a psychotherapist and Pilates instructor. She found herself back on TV and has popped up on our screens many times. She appeared as an expert therapist on Big Brother's Bit on the Side between 2012 and 2014, and competed on Celebrity Pointless in 2014. Diane made headlines this week when she shared her engagement. The ex-athlete said on the Chillin' with Ice podcast, "Just over a year ago, a gorgeous lady approached me in my local supermarket and over a year later, we're going to get married." Hunter. James Crossley. James, now 49, was the youngest cast member as he was just 19 when he started and he became the Gladiators' heartthrob. He even ended up bedding the show's presenter, Ulrika Jonsson. They dated for a year between 1996 and 1997, and they kept their romance out of the spotlight until the telly presenter told all in her 2003 autobiography. After getting out of the Gladiators game in 2000, James spent years pursuing an acting career and working in theatre. H has gone back to the fitness industry in recent years and is now a strength and conditioning coach, while his girlfriend Ariana is also a yoga teacher. He previously dated This Morning's Dr. Zoe Williams. Lightning. Kim Betts. Lightning was one of the toughest of the gladiators, reigning supreme as the Queen of Hang Tough. She was a gymnast before becoming a gladiator and went on to become the longest-serving star of the show. Kim competed in all of the UK series as well as the majority of the international versions, as well as returning for 2 Legends specials as part of the 2008 revamp. However, the blonde bombshell quit TV after bowing out of the Gladiator ring. Kim, now 51, became a successful businesswoman spending 15 years in property development, as well as running companies including her own beauty parlor. Kim has maintained her buff physique and she was crowned winner of 2020 IBFA Miss Universe. Cobra. Michael Wilson. During his 8 seasons on the show, Cobra had rippling muscles and was at the peak of his physical condition. Many of the gladiators fell into the party lifestyle, but for Michael, it became part of his filming days as well. But he would often struggle to chase contestants up the infamous 32-foot-high wall because he was so drunk. He confessed he was often bleeding drunk while he battled contestants on the show and got a telling off from producers. "I didn't take it too seriously," admitted Michael to The Mirror in 2019. "I was mucking about pranking, I had so much fun. It was brilliant. I was with a lot of mates with similar interests. We were all similar age, it was fun. There were end-of-show parties, when we had international gladiators come over, we would be up all night boozing." Michael, 59, leads a much quieter life now after leaving the showbiz world. He became a motivational speaker in schools and youth clubs up and down the country. In 2019, Cobra was seriously ill and battling pneumonia in hospital and blamed his illness on his punishing workouts for the ITV show. "I'm only half a gladiator now. It's been touch and go," he told The Sun. Rhino. Mark Smith. Mark, now 52, was one of the stars of the original American version of the show before transferring to the UK version. He exited the show in 1999, and went on to become a successful actor, living in Los Angeles. He had a recurring role as Johnson in EastEnders before heading stateside, where H has starred in shows such as Agents of S.H.E.I.L.D. and NCIS, Los Angeles. His movie roles include parts in acclaimed dramas Yardie, Creed, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Pirates of the Caribbean, On Stranger Tides. Mark, who now lives in West London, also made an appearance as Shadow Warrior in Batman Begins. He still shares an insight into his healthy life on Instagram. Ace, Warren Furman. Yorkshireman Warren, now 50, was most famous for being Katie Price's first fiancé back in the 1990s when she was known as Jordan. They were engaged for 2 years before splitting in 1999. He said their luxury lifestyle led to the romance turning toxic, telling us, "We traveled the world first class, went for expensive dinners, had big houses and fancy cars. We both came from working class families and were hustling for a few quid. We were put into a lifestyle where people had everything. We were absolutely petrified we would lose it. So we made some dubious decisions together. It jeopardized our relationship." He was on the ITV show from 1996 until 1999 when he turned his back on show business and found God. Warren now lives in York with his wife and 2 children. Speaking on This Morning previously, he said, "I used to worship myself. I thought I was fantastic. I have now turned to God's grace. I am a gladiator of the gospel. You'll never know God until you change your direction, and so I realized this. It was great, we had loads of money and women, but I realized I had to check."